My name's Ian Goodall. I own the specialist games recruitment agency. I have. Oh, sorry. We've put the wrong presentation on, so Ben will just correct that. I'll carry on talking in the meantime. So I own Aardvark Swift, the specialist games recruitment agency. I've got Ben with me today as well. We're both going to do parts of this presentation. Where do we start? Let's have a think. So, in terms of Aardvark Swift, and just a little bit of an intro in terms of what we do in terms of graduates. You'll see from the opening slide that we deliver this talk called Get in the Game. We've been to Staffordshire for many years delivering this talk. Some of you may have seen it. There's usually a big guy called Mark, who's my graduate recruiter. We take the talk around 67 different universities. We are quite focused on coding graduate recruitment, I've got to say. So I was going to do a quick show of hands and say, what have we got in the audience? How many coders have we got? Cool. So that's quite good. So you're going to probably get quite a lot from this talk. We also deal with designers and artists as well. However, we've got a limited time today. So one thing I will say is that we're having to focus. Our talk typically is about 45 minutes long. We've probably got about 20, 25. So it is a bit chopped down. Mark is back in around about a month's time to do the full version of this talk. You'll see from the previous slide, just drop back one, the partners that we've got in terms of graduate recruitment are up there for you to see. So we work with Microsoft, we work with Unity, Sumo, Exient, Boss Alien and Perforce. These guys are coming with us this year around the country. They're not all coming to every uni. Some can't make it to all. But people like Microsoft, for example, are coming up to talk about what they offer to students, what kind of tech you've got available. Unity, I'm sure you're all kind of playing with and dealing with in different ways. They're bringing a guy out with us on the road as well to talk about what they offer to students too. So hopefully the bigger talk will offer you an even more value than this one, but this will be a bit of a taster for you. So sorry, Ben, flip on. So agenda-wise today, just give you a bit of an intro. I think I've just done an intro, really. We'll do a bit more on who we are. We'll talk through some facts and figures from a recruitment survey that we do about graduate recruitment in the games industry from games companies. So they're real facts, real figures coming from real studios about grads and what they're up to. We'll talk a bit more about programs and artists in particular. We're having to focus on two today, about what it takes in terms of portfolios and CVs. The big part of what I want to talk about and is about maximising your chances and increasing your employability, because you guys are all here studying really good stuff, but I think a lot of where universities and courses fall down is they don't tell you how to actually get yourself in a shop window. Kyle talked a little bit about stuff like that. We'll perhaps go into a bit more detail on how to network, where to network, what sort of sites to use. And then we'll open it up to the floor after if we've got time for a few questions. So I'll do the first couple of slides, Ben will come in and then I'll finish off. Aardvark Swift, very briefly, we've been going 25 years. We were founded off the back of working for Gremlin in the early days up in Sheffield, hence the reason we were based in South Yorkshire. I bought the business 10 years ago from my boss at the time, so I've been there for 15 years. So I've been recruiting people for video games companies now for 15 years. We work right across the industry. I think if Ben brings up the next slide, you'll see some of the people that we work for in video games. I'm not going to go around the wheel, so you can see the ones that are up there. Big studios, hardware, software, down to the indies, into the middle ground. We work with anybody and everybody that's got anything to do with video games. So we've got a good kind of cross-section of knowledge. Back one slide again. Sorry, Ben, I'm jumping around a bit. gradsingames.com is a new initiative that we've literally just built this site and launched it probably about a month ago-ish. It will grow and it will be added to. You'll find on gradsingames.com all the information about this career talk, all the places that we're taking it. You'll find all the information about the competitions that we run and also information about other people's competitions. So what we want to do is we want to build this site out over the next months and years to come. And we want this to be a place where people like yourselves can go to get this kind of practical advice. So just a quick heads up on that. One more, Ben. So graduate recruitment wise, we are the only specialist recruitment agency that have a graduate recruitment team. This is not me doing a sales pitch, it's just kind of a heads up that there are other agencies out there. By all means, speak to them, see what response you get. However, we're the only ones that are travelling around the country and traipsing around talking to students all the time. We're the only ones that run video games competitions, and we're the only ones that are really making an active effort to pull the games industry together with academia and hopefully get everybody talking. So hopefully, I'm not going out on a limb and saying that we are graduate recruitment experts, so by all means use that facility, it's what it's there for. And all of the service that we provide is free to you guys. So whether you get that or not, I don't know, but I did want to stress that we make our money by charging games companies to hire graduates and to hire staff. That's how we make a living. We don't charge you guys for the service, so just to stress that. Flip on, Ben. Quick figures on the video games industry. Not going to dwell too long because I think we want to talk more about you guys. Looking up there, these are recent figures taken from recent surveys by people like Ukie and Tiger. We've now got the games market globally is worth a staggering $93 billion. So far bigger than music, far bigger than film, or slightly bigger than film now. The UK games industry, taken as a specific slice, there are now 9,000 people working in the video games industry in the UK. Over 80% of them, as it says, are degree level or above, so you're in the right place. There's over 500 UK game studios, and the important thing is that this is the trend, is that there's 120 of those have opened in the last 18 months. Most of them being the smaller studios that are coming out of the bigger studios that are all going pop. So there's a real trend for that now. It's not all London-centric, as I'm sure some of you that have done your research will know. There are a lot in London. We've also got a Scottish hub, we've got a Brighton hub, we've also got North East, Midlands, North West, Yorkshire, South West, and also into East Anglia as well with Cambridge and places like that. So it's a very broad, very big video games industry in the UK. Is this where you come in, Ben? So Ben's going to step up now and just talk a bit more about the survey that I mentioned earlier.
Hi guys, my name's Ben Shapford. I work on the programming desk at Aardvark Swift. I've been there now nearly 3 years. I've got a specialist area of kind of graphics, engine and tech development. So my job is to pretty much source those type of candidates for our agency. We've conducted a specific graduate survey that's probably been going about 8 years now. It goes across the big studios, the kind of smaller studios. So what we're going to do is give you some kind of numbers really, a bit more insight into kind of what graduates need to have to get into the games industry. There's two specific areas they're after. We've got artists and programmers. So as you can see from the kind of survey, 39% of studios are wanting to hire more grads. There's only kind of the 16% that kind of stay the same. So the kind of gist is there's more jobs for you guys. So the main skill sets from programming wise to get into the games industry is the kind of C++. You need to have this to get through the door. Different studios use different programming languages, but as a starting point, C++ is a massive bonus. Object orientation methods is used as industry standard, so that would help as well. Second one is maths. You need to have good math ability, angles, vector maths, physics as well. You use this on a daily basis in programming. And the third one is portfolio. This is probably the most important. You need to have kick-ass portfolio basically to get through the door in games. It's very competitive, and just kind of remember that it's kind of quality rather than quantity. So when you kind of get your CV in the application process, make sure you've got that on there so the hiring manager can have a look. So what does it take to succeed? Again, just touch on the portfolio. So make sure you've got a completed game. There's no point showing something that's in development stage or something that needs extra work, a bit of tweaking. The demo's going to distinguish you from other grads, so make sure it's your best work. Make it easy access. There's numerous kind of online website builders, CMS sites, all free for you guys to use. I recommend WordPress, very easy to use. Get your links on there, get your demos. If you're artists, get your kind of portfolio screenshots on there. That's always a big bonus for the application process. If you've worked on kind of multiple engines, that's great as well. Programmers need to be versatile in the games industry. Get screenshots, videos, make sure it works out the box. The last thing you want to do is have a demo and the end user's got to compile some code. That's the kind of gist. There's some examples here. We've got Adam, Dan and Simon. They're all previous Search for a Star winners. We can give you that info later on if you need to have a look, but they're what we'd say are really good portfolios to go by. So again, desirable skills, flexibility. There's a few kind of lists of other kind of desirable skills. You've got JavaScript, C#, stuff, the other programming languages. They're a bonus if you want to specialise in, I don't know, tools development. C# is a big kind of bonus.
Just to stress as well, this is the information that's coming back from the survey. So this is not kind of us deciding what the games industry wants. This is driven from the questions that are on that survey, which will not bore you with the list of questions, but literally this is the stuff that's coming back from industry. This is what they're looking for in coders, obviously.
Again, communication is a massive bonus for kind of getting your first job. You're going to be collaborating with your art team, other programmers. You need to communicate well. There's a saying that you need to be T-shaped, and that kind of saying is that you need to have a broad or wide knowledge base, but then have a kind of depth to your experience. So that if you've got any kind of graphics API experience, list it because it's only going to be beneficial. Okay, so where do they fail? Again, it's the C++ experience, the maths. A-level maths is obviously essential for kind of programming graduates. We've got kind of, again, that T-shape, going back to that, go wide, but also a deep area in one area. Okay, so for artists, again, same kind of principle really. Again, portfolio. You need to be specialist. So you've got your kind of 2D, 3D, or your animator. I wouldn't personally go down all three avenues. I choose one, I stick to it, I develop myself further, get some kind of portfolio together. There's different kind of routes within each. So you've got 2D, you've got a bit of UI concept, Illustrator. The 3D stuff, more kind of character, asset. And the animators, you can be 2D or 3D. Technical artists and kind of technical animators are a bit further along, so you probably get that kind of experience a bit later on. So it's a bit more kind of programming as well as art for those type of roles. Again, portfolio, massive key for the application process. First impressions, make sure it's your best work. We do get kind of experienced people having a portfolio link, and they're showing work that's from 2007. So make sure it's up to date. I know a lot of studios have got art assets that are under NDA for obvious reasons. But if you've got any work in your spare time, make sure that's available, easy access, box. Again, quality over quantity. These are some forums. I can give you these links later on, or give you a copy of the PowerPoint. But these are specific forums where you can have a look. There's also some portfolio advice, and also there's examples of good portfolio links. So I can pass that on later. The CD structure, again, portfolio, that's all I'm saying. Make sure it's good. Intro and a profile, get a covering letter, or paragraph I should say. It doesn't want to be a page of an intro. You're working in games, you want to work in games, so make sure it's fun, make sure you emphasise that you like games, what games you want. If you're going to want to specialise in something, make sure it's included. Skills section. You've got the best thing I would recommend for this, for programming and art, is a table. Make sure you've got your platforms on there, make sure you've got your graphics APIs, any art software, your Macs, your Mayas, any of that. Again, your programming languages, your HTML, your C++, whatever it may be, make sure it's visible. If you don't put it on there, the studios are not going to, they're just going to assume that you don't have it. So make sure it's on there. Education, obviously your degree, it's pretty essential to get into the games industry. Make sure your key modules are on there. Grades as well, we do look at that. Same with A-level results. On programming, it is kind of maths heavy, so A-level results need to be included. Employment, if you've got any experience working in Tesco's or any kind of retail, anything like that, I wouldn't include it. It's not relevant to the games industry. So if you've got any kind of games testing experience, maybe done a week doing, I don't know, some volunteer work, include that. That's always a starting.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add to that as well is that the work experience is not so much as it's irrelevant. It's I think what we do want to see on CVs and what studios do like to see and need to see is not that you've worked in Tesco or you've worked in Blockbuster, for example, but it's what you've learned there. It's what soft skills you used. It's whether you were part of a team. It's whether you used communication skills. It's whether you dealt with people face to face from a customer basis. It's not just the fact that you had the job. It's the skills and the talent that you used in that job that can be applied to a video game studio. So just to stress that point a little bit.
And then you've got hobbies and interests, your games, what kind of genre of games do you like, include that. Any, I don't know, music interest. We work with quite a lot of studios that do music games. This company, Lentis Spa, DJ Hero. If you're a big fan of music, that's going to be an added bonus for you to get through their door in their application process. And don't make it more than 2 pages.
Yeah, and the other thing as well as stress is that we kind of use this as a structure. So I would say, yes, you want to be unique, and yes, you want to show a bit of creativity with your CV, but don't go mad. You've got to get, this CV's got to be easy to read. It's got to be easy for people to pick up. It might be you might think it's the most boring looking document in the world, but these guys are getting huge numbers of these through the door. So people will recognise this as a format. It's the content that's more important, I think. Yes, if you can make it quirky and make it a bit unique, then maybe do so, but get the basics right first. Don't send them a video of you doing something which you think is absolutely amazing and shows you off as a person if you're not going to do the actual nuts and bolts of who you are and what you do.
If you want any advice on Steam templates, Grads & Games, they've got a link on there you can download as well. I'll pass it back over to Ian.
Okay, just speeding up a bit because we're into the last 5 minutes. So in terms of maximising your chances, then be flexible. Kyle talked a lot of sense about how to be, how to behave and how to portray yourself. The humbleness and everything else, absolutely spot on. I would agree. We get so many rejections at interview from graduates that have gone in and told the people what they're going to do, told them what they're going to do in their job and really come across as just being arrogant. So that's definitely spot on. But flexibility. It's 500 studios in the UK, all over the country. So it's not. I appreciate that you're all going to have limitations on where you want to work and where you can work, but be flexible. If you try and work in different places, try and open up different opportunities. Don't just think, I want to go and work for Sony. That's it. That's my dream and that's what I'm going to follow. Be open-minded. And knowledge is power is up there because, again, Kyle talked a little bit, again, and he was absolutely right about finding out about studios. If you're applying to a studio, and if you do manage to get through the door and you get your CV past that person and they say, yes, we want to see you, then get stuck into your research. We will help. I mean, we are a recruitment agency, so we make our money when you guys get a job. So we will go a lot further than a lot of people will to help you. But you can get onto the internet, you can get on LinkedIn, you can get behind the scenes of the game, you can find out what the studio did before, you can find out who owns it, where the finance from, who are the key players in the team, and then when you go in there, then you're arming yourself with a load of good information that studio will think, shit, yeah, this person really wants to come and work here. So that's the bit about the knowledge, is do your research. Networking, massive thing. Again, Kyle talked about it. There are plenty of events around that aren't just in your university. Get yourselves out there and get to these events. If you can't afford it, see if you can get, I don't know, maybe you can get funding from your uni if you can organise buses. You can always get discounted tickets as students. We're running an event in Birmingham called Launch, which is a full day around the same sort of topics as this, where we'll have other people from different studios. You can see them up there talking about how they got into the games industry. So that's in November. LinkedIn is a massive tool that we use as a recruitment agency, but can be used by you guys. Get on there, get yourself a profile set up. If you want help setting up your profile, that profile needs to be as good as your CV. Simple as that. If it's not, don't bother. Put as much time into your LinkedIn profile as you would do your own CV and your own portfolio. If you want some help with that, we've got pages and we've got documents that we use internally to help us have a good profile on LinkedIn, and it's the same principle. So come and talk to us about that. What's next, Ben? Increasing your employability. It's kind of what we're all about with Search for a Star. Search for a Star is a competition for games programmers. We're hoping to broaden that out in the years to come and have a competition for designers and a competition for artists. So if you're a coder and you're not in Search for a Star, then you should be. Simple as that. It's not the only competition, and I'm not doing a sales pitch, but that's a competition that the first stage is a coding test, so it tests your C++, so studios can see how good you are. The second stage is a game creation stage, so you get to make a game in a week, and that game then gets published by Microsoft on Windows 8 phone. So you're going into job interviews, and people are saying, what have you done? And you say, well, that's my game. There's my game. Can you play it? Download it and play it. That is how you increase your employability. Wow.
That's okay, that's scheduled.
Okay. For you guys that aren't coders, there are other competitions. We've got DARE, we've got Global Game Jam, you've got the Imagine Cup from Microsoft. So get yourself into competitions, get yourself some games made. Ben? I think we're nearly done. So that's us. Again, grab us later, get contact details. You've got Mark, who's part of the grad team. You've got Simon, who does design as an artist. Ben, who does coders as well. But grab any of us and find the website, find grads in games, and just come and speak to us. We're there as a resource to help you get in. So please come and speak to us.
Thanks so much for recognizing that.